At the end of his 9-day fact-finding mission on the country, Chaloka Beyani, the UN Special Rapporteur on the Human Rights of Internal...
My name is Chaloka Beyani. I'm an associate professor in the law department. I came to LSE in 1996 and have been here ever since. I work as a United Nations Special Rapporteur on the human rights of internally displaced persons,
which he says are below the required UN standards and is calling for urgent government intervention.
As well as themselves have durable solutions.
I have always been enormously fond of Kenya. I visited Kenya many times in the 1990s. But in 2007, when Kenya went to the vote, the elections were disputed in terms of results. Violence broke out, and a country that had seemed stable for many years suddenly was unstable. People were killing each other, displacement occurred, and the international community then intervened. The African Union appointed Kofi Annan to mediate, and it was Kofi Annan who invited me to go to Kenya along with 3 other international experts. So there were 9 of us all in the committee, which was ratified by the Parliament of Kenya and worked from 2009 to 2010 until the constitution was delivered. For 20 years, Kenya was trying to have a new constitution, and it hadn't worked. So this was quite a momentous occasion in the history of the country. We went to every part of the country in remote areas to speak with people, find out what their needs were, what type of constitution they wanted, to try and get it right. And I think in the end, we had produced 3 drafts in between for public comments and also for the National Assembly to comment and come back to us, so that the final product that emerged and went to referendum was, I think, very much a legitimate reflection of the wishes of the people in terms of how they wanted to organize their country. I was really interested in making sure that the country that I have always been very fond of would not slide further into anarchy, and to reconfigure it, re-engineer it from its constitutional foundations into a modern era. And I think it has got one of the best constitutions in the world at this point in time. Well, I think that was one of the most sobering experiences that I had. What if we get this wrong? What if it doesn't work? Well, I had nightmares about that all the time. I was in Kenya. Sometimes I had sleepless nights. There was great expectations when the elections were held this time round, and of course the result was disputed. The Supreme Court made a decision in favor of the individuals who were declared as winners. It was a tense moment, but it did work. I don't accept that there should be genocide, or that genocide and wars are just the way in which things happen. Of course, there's a certain logic to war. Sometimes you can't prevent a conflict, but sometimes you can. However, when it does take place, it should not lead to genocide, as it did in Rwanda. I went to Rwanda just at the height of the genocide, and you wondered, why should people do this to each other? It takes individual efforts that become collective at some point, either through the international system or through NGOs, to try and resolve these issues, to address them and speak to the people involved. And I find that when I address governments, I address soldiers, commanders, and sometimes I speak to rebel groups. They actually understand, they do get the message that you're giving them, and it does make a difference to say, please do not attack civilians. Leave them alone. You can fight each other, but can we establish certain understandings and rules by which we respect the conventional approaches to how conflict is fought? I have a sense of optimism that things can improve, and indeed my very work and involvement is to try and make the world a better place.